And then there's addiction of gaming, and it's psychologically playing into people to make them feel that they have an authority, that they have some sort of recognition, and that's dangerous. Why games lure people? Because they have character and social defects, right? So somebody whom is not been trained to be social means they don't know how to communicate with people or interact with people or feel socially awkward because of school, because of conditions, whatever they are. Maybe the school is too aggressive, some areas are just too much of a minority and other kids are not associating. Whatever it is, what shaitan is playing with is that the person is not going into a social environment, so I'll give them a game and that will be their social environment. And in that game they feel safe, and in that game they achieve ranks, so they feel recognition, they feel fame, they feel like they've achieved something. But we want to combat that. We don't want that child to live in a virtual world and they virtually communicate and they virtually feel secure. You want them to be secure in real life, so you send them to boxing, send them to karate, send them to soccer. Send them to a sport in which they're forced to be amongst people, forced to socialize, and that they learn how to physically communicate with people, physically keep the company and the fellowship of people. That's why to combat the children whom when they're younger, when they get older and Shaykh said, my kid's 18 years old, he's playing video games, what do I do? Well, he's probably been playing for 12 years, what are you going to do at 19 years old? But when they're starting off young, put them into sports. Happening is you have to understand what shaitan trying to do. Everyone is going for the heart. Shaitan is trying to take the heart of the servant and Allah wants the heart of the servant. So what you see through your eyes and what you do with your time is affecting your heart. When you're seeing all these things that shaitan wants and these kids are playing these games for hours and hours, where is the image of this eye going? It says into the hard drive which is the heart. So the hard drive is overloaded now with images. How could the heart filled with all these images sit and meditate? It can't, because as soon as it sits and meditates it's shooting, it's moving the thing, the gun is moving, the car is moving, all the actual video images are being played in your heart because they were all stored in here. What you took from your eyes is stored in your heart. So if you don't take anything from your eyes, your heart is clean. Or you'll be trained on how to clean your eyes, and then you waste your time because you start to pray right before Asr and start to play your game right before Asr, you miss your Asr. Then you keep playing the games, I miss my Asr so I'll go all the way to Maghrib, and then before you know it you even make and miss the ability to make it up. And that's all shaitan wants, is then to make the person depressed that they're not doing this, they're not doing that, and you find that you're cutting yourself from that reality. So then look at what is happening to society and to children now. The games, the videos, all of these are a bombardment to lower the frequency. When you lower the frequency of humanity, they become possessed because the negative energies that are coming into them and overtaking them. And it doesn't take much for an energy being to overtake a physical person that has no ability to understand or to have any spiritual practices. For us we're like a television for them, they merely just touch your being and they can cast images into the head, into the heart. So this is what possession and sickness. So spiritual masters all knew that when you resonate at a high frequency you actually destroy those lower beings because your resonance is so high, your zikr, your chantings, your mantras, your breathing practices are so strong. When the lower sort of demonic and evilness come towards your being to occupy you and to sort of live within the human being, the higher frequency actually hits them out. And that vibration shatters it, and God says in Qur'an that, say to the truth when the truth comes, falsehood is perishing. And falsehood by its nature is always perishing. Means that which is false, it can't stay within the face of the truth. And the truth is a light, is a purified light, a holy light, a sanctified soul with its spiritual practices. The one who builds their light and builds their frequency, builds their chanting, that becomes the spiritual warrior. The concept of a video game, it's a deep reality that you shouldn't be playing video games. But if you do play a video game, you understand that it's one engine. For those who don't know programming, it's just one room. The scenario changes, the scenery changes in the room, and you have a mission on each level. There's a door in, there's a fake door, and then there's a real door out to get to your next level. But in that level you have to accomplish whatever Allah wanted you to accomplish. You got all the prizes, you got all the hidden gems, you got all the coins, you got everything of what that game wanted for you, so you can go to the next level. Otherwise the next level there's some sort of a creature there that's going to fight you, and oh, you don't have your potion, you don't have your asa, you don't have your ring, whatever it is that your game is playing. So I want to know myself, but between me and myself are all my bad desires, all my shaitans are all blocking, all these veils of these realities blocking from me. How could I get to know me if I haven't gone through all of those? You can't detour them and push them aside and escape and make a go. You have to go through the whole team of all these demons and all these shaitans that you've built over your years of bad character, bad desires, bad way of talking, bad everything. Those all have to be beaten up. You go after them, boom, 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 like a football game. You have to take them out, take them out, take them out. As you've taken them out, now you're closer to meeting yourself. And that's just the level one. You meet the self that is on this dunya, and what that name was and what was the reality of that name. That this life is but an illusion, and that's the whole concept of this life is a matrix. It's a game, something's happening and you're not really seeing what this is about. And we come into this life and we become locked on this delusion. And we think that everything we're doing and trying to achieve and everything that we fear and we want in this world is real. And when the servant becomes guided by Allah and sends them to the guides, the first thing the guides are teaching them is this is an illusion. The shaitan in a software, he is like a catalyst. That when you introduce a catalyst into a video game, it makes the person playing to run around more. So in a video game when they write a program, it's actually like a screen, a box, and they put a new skin on this engine. But in the software they'll say that the person will enter into the room, they'll have to find 5 treasures. But because we don't want him sitting in there all day long playing around looking for 5 treasures, we're going to introduce the wild card, which is a devil, a demon, some sort of difficulty that enters into the room and starts coming after you, so that you can quickly get your treasure and go to the next level. Shaitan plays the same role in this software. That Allah introduces shaitan into this software, don't take your time, don't sit and waste your time, he's coming. Achieve what you had to achieve on your every day is a level of your software game. That if you think you're going to play this game over 50 years and go nowhere, Allah says, no, okay, introduce into his arena a shaitan now. A difficulty comes. That difficulty begins to enter into that arena to motivate the servant to achieve, to do something. So our whole life is an understanding that this is a software that's all been written. Either you're going to be reactive to every shaitanic movement within your game, your life is a game and every day is a new scene in your video game. Either you always have to react to what shaitan has done to you and you play a reactive game because you're probably not a good player. You sit down and wait for the devil to come into the arena and begin to destroy everything in your game, and everything in your life becomes reacting to the difficulty and to the problem. But when we accompany awliya who have mastered this game, and Allah gave them a programming code. When they achieve the game and they do well in the game, Allah make them to be like programmers. They can come in and out of the game with a different coding. And what made them to be successful in the game is Allah bestowed upon them to be proactive. Don't wait for shaitan to come into your field. Sit, do your awrad, do your zikrs, do your connection, make sure your connection is strong. Making the connection, making your accounting, all of these are for people to keep a hisab for themselves, so that the game is more what it's supposed to be, just a part-time or pastime of entertainment. So those children whom exercise a lot and they're involved in different activities, they play their gaming very minimal because they want to go out and do their physical activities. This is the sunnah of Sayyidina Muhammad in archery and horseback riding, swimming, any type of activity that the children have an active role and a physical movement, not sitting behind a computer screen, inshaAllah.